Looking to make some healthier habits this holiday season? Make sure to check out our Moving Through Midlife community over on Facebook, as we are doing a Planksgiving event where we are doing daily plank workouts. We will be doing an advent for healthy, happy hips this holiday season, and then also have a sugar challenge, a 2-week sugar challenge that you might be interested in. Happy holidays!
Welcome to Raising Healthy Humans, where you as a busy mom can come each week to find information on health and wellness for your family. Enjoy experts discussing tips to help raise children through each phase of life, gather current information on nutrition and wellness, and listen to Courtney, a personal trainer and founder of FormFit, provide you with movement and posture tips along the way. It is our goal to help provide you with the information you need to help raise healthy humans.
Today, I have a great conversation with Charlotte. She is the founder of HealthShero. She was a mental health professional who was diagnosed with cancer in 2011 and decided to leave her career and dive into the health and nutrition world. She has created HealthShero, which is an online community helping moms to avoid burnout, manage their stress, and get excited about life again. Today, she is speaking about how you can reset your mind this new year, some tips to help you take time for yourself and create some morning routines that may work for you, and how food plays a role in how we are with our children and things that we can do to use food to our advantage. So I hope you enjoy this conversation with Charlotte. Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Nice meeting you.
Yeah, you too.
So tell me a little bit about yourself.
10 years ago, I used to work in the mental health field with kids and teens and families. And I worked in hospitals and youth shelter schools. And I was constantly burning out. Like if I wasn't working shift work, I was playing competitive sports or working out. And I was like, go, go, go. And I'd hit a wall, like get sick or have an injury. And I'm like, come on, body, let's keep up and keep going. And this pattern continued until eventually I was diagnosed with cancer at the age of 32.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, 12 years ago now. And I was like, how do you get cancer? Like, I'm fit, I'm healthy. Like, this doesn't make any sense to me. And I remember sitting down with my oncologist and I was like, hey, what can I do to stay healthy outside of surgery, chemo, and radiation? And he was like, nothing, like, just do that and you're fine. And I was like, well, what about diet? And he's like, diet has nothing to do with your health, Charlotte. I was like, what? I'm like, I know if I eat like crap, I feel like crap. So like, I wasn't a doctor. I wasn't even a nutritionist at the time. So I'm like, it kind of has something to do with health. And I was so pissed at the time when he said that. But looking back, I was so happy he said that because then I dove into like holistic health and I went all in. Like I, became a nutritionist and, certified in holistic health and all of that. And then I started making changes to my diet, to my lifestyle. And I was blown away at what could happen. And I was like, why aren't they teaching this, stuff in school? And I was told I would never have kids naturally. And again, I just focused on detoxing my body, flooding it with as many nutrients as I could, moving my body, sleeping, focusing on de-stressing. And then I was able to have my 2 kids naturally.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
And I said, they told me, if you do get pregnant, the cancer is going to come back because it was breast cancer and I was young and hormone based. And, here I am 12 years later, healthy, vibrant, and now my kids are part of this holistic health lifestyle,
So where did you get certified through? Is it just out of curiosity?
Yeah, of course. So I'm in Toronto. I'm not sure where are you located?
Naples, Florida.
Oh,
Yeah.
Florida's
So,
amazing. So actually, I went to the Graft Academy in Georgia.
okay.
Yeah, and I became a certified raw food chef, a certified health and
Wow.
nutrition consultant. Again, just to dive into my own healing. So I was like, and since then I've turned it into a business, but only because I'm like, if I can do it, like anybody can do it, right?
Yeah. So are you raw food? Is that all you eat now or
No.
no? Okay.
So yeah, after I finished treatment, I did raw food for about a year straight.
Okay.
And it's still part of my, diet, but I don't only. And in fact, now I also incorporate meat, where before I did not do meat for maybe 5 years
Oh, wow.
afterwards. Like I was really focusing on and cleansing my body as much as possible.
Okay. And
Yeah.
so HealthShero, right? Or Health
Shiro. Yeah,
Hero.
that's
Okay.
right. Yeah. Yeah. The reason why I called my company that is because I think a lot of times, we're kind of programmed as women to like look for saviors, look for somebody that can come and rescue us and save us. And it's like, no, you have to show up for yourself, and no like white coat God doctor is going to come and save you. You have to show up for yourself and be your own health shiro or hero. And I feel like, especially women, as we do this and we step into our own power, then all of a sudden we're naturally, without even teaching our kids, we're naturally inspiring them to make their own health, their own happiness, their own sense of peace a priority. Like it's incredible the ripple effects when you step into your own power,
Yes. And that's part of why I created this podcast, is because I feel like moms are so honed in on what's best for my child that they stop paying attention to themselves. And that's why I wanted to bring this to them, because I knew they're more apt to listen to something about raising healthy kids than they are about taking time for themselves. So by doing this, I thought I'm going to hit them here, but I'm also going to talk to them about their wellness, because that they are the key to their family's wellness.
Yes. I feel I'm like, obviously I don't know you that well, but I'm like, oh, we are soul sisters. Because when I saw the name of your podcast, I was like, oh, this fully aligns. And it's so funny. When I first started HealthShero, I was like, I've been doing in the health world since 2013, but I rebranded and relaunched HealthShero's, in 2018. And I at the time I launched 2 ads, for women. One was like, how moms can avoid burnout and take back, their power, blah, blah, blah. And the other one was raising healthy, happy kids. And the mom one was like crickets. Like nothing, and the kids one blew up because like moms are like, oh no, if this is going to affect my kids, then I'll take action, but I won't do it for myself.
Right. It's so sad. It's so sad. We are so important. We're so important.
Oh,
and our children learn from us. I mean, everything we're doing, we're the ones that the groceries, everything that comes into the home, that is usually the mom. There are some men out there who are going out grocery shopping, but for many of us, it's us, so we're the ones who start with that. And even going back to like just pregnancy with, what you're feeding your body and your child within the womb is affecting them for life.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything we do is affecting them for life.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. But you're right. It starts with them in the womb. Like how we manage our stress. How are we making sleep a priority? How are we making water a priority? How are we making our food or movement a priority? And when we start doing that, our kids, like I remember when I worked on this holistic health and I felt like I was very zenned out before kids. And then you have one child and then I was like, oh my God, how do you bring this like peaceful vibe into motherhood? And then, still using that same approach, and then 2 kids and so on. But I remember, still meditating and continuing like my self-care routine around my kids. And I remember them going like, Mama, why are you sleeping? Like, wake up. Why are you sleeping? I'm like, I'm not sleeping. I am meditating. And then they started asking to meditate. Well, can I meditate? And then I was like putting on like, short 1 minute, 2 minute, 5 minute guided meditation, and they loved it. And now they are asking to do it only because they see me doing it, like it's not like I'm telling them like, you've got to meditate. No, they're just seeing me do it and they want to do it.
Right. So you came about it through having something, a diagnosis, which many people, that is how they come about their health journey. For those people that thankfully have not received any type of diagnosis. How do you work with them to help them start to understand the importance of things like meditation and taking care of yourself? How are you working with moms?
Yeah, I think first things first, you want to start recognizing the sign of anxiety or the signs of burnout. What does that even look like? What are those red flags? Like for me, if I am snapping at my kids, like, or I'm getting angry at anybody, like strangers on the internet, somebody who cut me off in the car, like anybody, I am like getting mad at society and all the changes that's going on. And I'm like infuriating over that. It is me. It is not my surrounding. It is not my kids. It is me. But now my anger is affecting them. And now I'm teaching them how to react when they're getting angry. So it's really important. And a lot of times as parents, we can't handle our kids' big emotions because we can't handle our own big emotions. So it's really, really important to start recognizing what are those signs are. And once you start recognizing those red flags, and maybe it's like not sleeping, or maybe it's overeating or undereating, and then the impact that it has in all areas of your life. Because if you are tired, if you're exhausted, you're not going to be performing well at work. Your sex drive's down. Maybe you're getting arguments more in your partner or with your kids. So now it's affecting your relationships. Maybe you want to go out too much and you just don't want to feel anything. Or maybe we're pulling back, like whatever those red flags are, recognizing what it is for you. And then it's like, okay, what action can we start taking? So we're implementing like a positive, healthy habits. And it needs to be done daily. Really, really important. Yeah.
And where would you start with someone? So just thinking, do you start nutrition with them, or do you start with sleep, or what's the very first thing that you feel is going to help them get out of that burnout cycle?
Yeah, great question. I think a lot of times people think, oh yeah, just start with diet. And I have a lot of moms going, listen, like, I feel like I've gained some weight. I don't feel healthy. I just help me with my diet. First things first, though, you've got to create a solid self-care routine, and you've got to understand why you're doing it. Because if you are not connected to like the why you want to do it or why you want to get healthy, if I put a salad in front of you or a bowl of chips in front of you, I mean, your emotions are going to be picking, that out. So it's what self-care does, and self-care can look like, doing meditation. It can do, journaling. It could do, a gratitude list, and not like a lot of experts are like, just write 3 things. I'm like, listen, if I'm tired and I haven't slept because of my kids, 3 things are doing nothing, like nothing for me. So keep going until you genuinely smile. But your number one job is to feel good. And when you start feeling good, now you're attracting a lot of different opportunities. You can start attracting, so this is where you can get into the manifestation world. But self-care is like the absolute foundation. And then once you start journaling, you start connecting like who you are outside of your role as a mom, outside of your career, outside of, whatever you've been labeling yourself as an athlete or whatever that looks like. It's like, who am I? What do I value? What's important to me? And once you kind of figure that out through consistent self-care, then I would move to diet. Then I would move to your environment, and then so on. Yeah.
Okay. Now, as you're saying that, I'm thinking a lot of these moms are like, but I don't have time. I don't have time. My child wakes me up in the morning. Like, where am I supposed to fit this in?
Yes, that is like the biggest thing. And honestly, it's one of the biggest lies we tell ourselves too, because we find time to binge watch, Netflix or Amazon Prime or whatever else. We can find time to do things. If you try and find time, you're never going to find it. You have to create it. And it's hard in the beginning. It really does feel like work. But once you start doing it consistently, you start feeling good. And then you're like, okay, I don't want to go back to my old ways because now I'm loving myself. And it's like, what self-care does, it's like, if you're getting into a car and you're like, okay, I'm going to drive across the country, you wouldn't just jump in a car and drive across the country. You need to make sure there's, air in the tires, there's gas in the tank, your windshield washer's fluid, like all the, liquids are filled up, whatever that is, you've got snacks. And this is what self-care does. It's like putting on this like spiritual armor. And then when you start going through the day and like a coworker pisses you off, or your boss, or, or a client, or I don't know, whatever, you're not being pulled into all these like dramatic conflicts, you're able to stay present and be aligned because you know who you are, you're staying present, and then you're moving forward more mindfully.
Okay. I'm thinking of myself, and I notice you do that mindless scrolling.
Yes.
And I realize like that's my way of trying to numb out.
Yeah.
And I think recognizing it is what kind of helps you get past it, because now I'll grab my phone and I'll start to, who knows what, like go through 15 different apps. Like, I don't know what I'm looking for. And I'm like, wait a second. You have to take a minute and you start to realize, wait a second, what am I doing? And just put the phone down and just be with yourself for just a minute. We have become to where we do not spend time with ourselves, just, without anything going on.
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head there, because we're so busy doing, what do I need to do? What's on my to-do list? Okay, who needs to be, okay, what do the kids need to do? What do you need to do? Okay, and we're just so going. And we're so not present. We're just on autopilot. And then all of a sudden, when you cut out those distractions and you start being in the present moment and connecting with yourself, like you said, and for me, that's one of my red flags too, scrolling, going down that rabbit hole. Like, oh my, what am I doing here? Yeah. And once you start recognizing those red flags, it's like, okay, well, let me pull out and be what's going on, what's coming up for me. And maybe it's like grabbing a pen and just start journaling. Like, okay. And you can just, it doesn't have to be like, dear diary, but it can be like, what the, F is going on here right now? Why am I scrolling? What's really going on? And then you just start journaling. And before you know it, it's like, and then that, cow in grade 4 tripped me. And you're like, whoa, where did that come from? But journaling can be very cathartic. And I'm not saying, like, I have a daily journaling template that I used, every morning, but if I'm feeling off, I'll still pick up my journal and just start, scribbling. And you can't even really read it. Sometimes I'm swearing, sometimes, I'm just getting stuff out. But really important to kind of get that energy out of your body and like, onto paper or out of your bodies in some shape or form.
Okay. For me, I don't like to journal. I understand the pen to paper, and I love doing pen to paper things. Like I will make lists and I'll constantly write. But if you told me to sit down and write out my thoughts, I draw a blank.
Okay. So can I make a suggestion?
Yeah, of course. Yes. Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah. So, what you could do is you could scribble. Like you don't even have to write anything. You could just like scribble, and you could grab markers or whatever, whatever you want. You could just sit there and scribble. Another thing that I suggest women do is have healthy tantrums. Like we see this with kids, right? Can I have this? No, I can't have this. And then you see that like sense of injustice builds up, and they're getting angry. They're getting frustrated. Maybe they're verbally like, why can't I have this? Well, maybe they're physically like getting that energy out. And then once they're finished, they've accepted the present moment, and they're like, okay, mom, like what's for dinner? And you're like, whoa, like, give me a second to just catch up to all the craziness that just went down. But what's beautiful about that, it's, obviously annoying, but what's beautiful about that is that they feel that sense of injustice 10 out of 10, and then they get it out 10 out of 10. And what a lot of moms do, it's like, they have their day planned, life throws them a curveball, and it's like, well, holy, crap, how am I going to get through this? And oh, like, and something else happens, oh, guys, so you're feeling all of this 10 out of 10, and you're like, it's okay, I'm fine. I'm just going to like get through my day. I'm going to be positive. And then, we're walking around with this big old rock in our shoe, and we're stumbling through our day pretending that there's no rock because we're trying to be positive and we're trying to be there for everybody. And it's like, no, you've got to acknowledge there's a big old rock in your shoe and get it out in a healthy way. So one of the ways you can do it is having a healthy tantrum. So this is like, you are scheduling time to be by yourself, right? And then we are directing that energy that we're feeling on a cellular level, and we're getting it out. So maybe it's putting on angry music, maybe it's punching a pillow. One of my favorites is putting ice in a reusable grocery bag and then smashing the ice because you hear it breaking, And what this does is like now, or maybe you're dancing, or maybe you're having a really good workout, but you're setting the intention of getting that energy out. So now you've felt it 10 out of 10, and now you're getting it out 10 out of 10. Because if I'm feeling something like a really sense of injustice, or I've had a conflict with somebody and I'm feeling it 10 out of 10, scribbling is like getting it out 2 out of 10. Like I need to do something probably physical to get it out. And then it's out. And now it's not seeping out when I walk into my kid's room and I'm like, why did you leave this such a mess? Like now I'm not having this like indirect anger and projecting it on the wrong people. I've got it out, and I've connected myself without journaling, but that's definitely one way to get it out.
Right. as you were saying that, I was thinking to myself, I do not journal, but I talk. That is how I get it out, because I will go through a whole 30-minute conversation with myself about who knows whatever I'm annoyed about. And I think that's my release, is me just talking to myself.
Yes, no, that's brilliant too. That is brilliant. Yes, you 100% you can do that. Some people will talk to other people, but if I do that, you want to make sure you respect other people's boundaries and just be like, hey, I just need to like vent and get this off my chest. You do not need to, you don't need to offer advice. You don't need to say anything comforting. I just need to get this off, and then you can be like, like get it all out. So maybe that could be a great way. If you're feeling it, 3, 4 out of 10, get it out by like just talking and working it through yourself without having to journal. That's great.
Yeah. Okay. So with the new year, do you have recommendations of things that we can start doing, like tips to help with the mom burnout?
Yeah. So I would recommend doing daily journaling. But here's the thing. This is not like, again, like Dear Diary. So I recommend doing 3 sections. So the first one is gratitude, writing a gratitude list, but do not stop until you genuinely smile, because there's a hierarchy of emotions, like levels of consciousness, and gratitude's one of the highest. So if you're feeling grateful, now your energy, is very high, and you're vibing at a different level. So gratitude's really, really important. If you can do this first thing in the morning, super powerful. So that's the first section.
Can I ask you a question about that real quick?
Yeah.
So I have tried doing this before, and someone mentioned something about how you don't want to do it non-specific. So I'm grateful for my children. You want to try to find specific situations. Is that what you usually recommend? Does that help you get to that place?
Oh yeah. Like on mornings that I'm tired, like I start basic. Like I am so grateful for toilet paper. I am so grateful for a toilet. Like I start like where I'm feeling like the poo vibe. Like I go there.
Okay.
And I am not grateful for kids when I'm waking up tired. Like I'm not even in that headspace. I can't even pretend to get there. Right. So no, I start very basic.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I'll move up to whatever I am until I genuinely smile. So it can be anything. It doesn't have to be something big like your house or your kids or your partner, because all of that is probably BS first thing in the morning.
Right.
Start basic. And then the second section I would do is write 7 dreams that you would like to manifest, and write them in the present moment. Because a lot of times when you talk to moms, or when I talk to moms that are burnt out, and I'm like, well, what would you wish for? If anything could happen, and they're like, well, I don't know. I don't want this to happen. I don't want that to happen. And we're so focused on what we don't want, we tend to attract that into our life. So this gets our brain refocused. Now that we're vibing high with the gratitude list, now we want to start tapping into that creative energy and focusing on what we do want to create. And then the last section is writing 3 goals of the day. So our brain can't handle more than that. So maybe one's for like professional or whatever we're doing, maybe one's around the house, whatever we need to do. But then I always say, like, make one around fun, like bring fun into your day daily. But what this does, even just like this template, this journal template, it allows you to be part of like the creating process of your day. So you're not just going through your day and reacting. Now you're creating what you genuinely want. And sorry, I forgot to say with the dreams, once you write down those dreams, go back in and visualize, feel it as if it's already happened. So you're, again, being part of that creative process, you're reprogramming your unconscious mind, because you might write a dream down. You'd be like, I have no clue how that's going to happen. And you're real cute thinking that's going to happen, but then when you go in and visualize that and feel it, and now it's like hitting the gas on the pedal, like if you're jumping into that dream car,
Okay. So do you have a journal prompt or anything that you have for this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll definitely pass that over to you.
Okay, perfect. And then, so that is more of the gratitude side of everything. What would be the next step that you usually take with moms?
Yeah, it's a hard one, but I
Okay.
highly recommend it's the meditation. Meditation, a lot of times if you're thinking, well, prayer, well, I pray, so it's okay. But prayer is like, it's asking, right? Prayer is like you're asking, you're putting energy out. Meditation is receiving. So you are in a state of receiving. So a lot of times if you haven't tried meditation, and I'm somebody that hated it in the beginning. The first time I did it, I was like, that was the worst 10 minutes of my life. I will never get that back. Thank you very much. So I get it if you're not used to it, if you don't like it, but start with like a guided meditation, like try 5 minutes, try that for, a week or two, and then maybe add another 10 minutes to it. But guided meditations are an amazing way for you to connect, to be present, to slow down, to calm that central nervous system. And it's something so small that will have a massive impact. And a lot of times, like I'll have answers if I'm stuck on a problem and I'm like, okay, is it door B, A or B, which one am I taking? And then I'm meditating and I'm like, oh shoot, there's C and D. Like I didn't even see that. I didn't even think that was a possibility. So really important to bring in like meditation into your daily practice. There's a reason why so many people talk about it.
Do you have recommendations for what type of meditation to practice? Is it, what do you use?
Yeah. So I think when you're first starting out, I would highly recommend like you could download the app Insight Timer or the Calm app. And then you can even set like, I'm just looking for a 5-minute meditation. And then you can listen to that. Right now I'm hooked on Joe Dispenza's meditation. They're about like 45 minutes or just over an hour healing meditation. And the time goes by quick, like it goes by really quick. But I'm loving those meditations right now. But I feel like if you're just starting out, like stick to the guided meditations is super powerful.
Okay. Yeah. I like the Insight Timer as well. I love, and this is business wise, but manifestation. There's one woman I listen to hers almost daily. Oh. And when I get off track, I notice things change in my business. And then when I start listening again, all of a sudden things start happening. I'm like, oh, this is wonderful.
So powerful.
Yeah.
So powerful. That's awesome.
Okay. So after meditation, after meditation, where do you go next?
Physical movement. We've got to move our body. We are like so used to kind of sitting down and not really doing anything, and we've got to like stretch. We've got to connect with our body. I'm somebody that can't even touch their toes, but I will do yoga, So it's like, who cares where you're starting? Who cares where you're at? Like, it doesn't matter, but find something that's enjoyable. Like, it doesn't have to be a punishment. If you are not into like weights, don't do weights. Maybe you do a dance class,
Mm-hmm.
but find something that like lights you up. Find something that like brings some kind of joy that you actually look forward to. And whenever we're starting like a new practice, it's going to feel like work, but like keep doing it consistently. Try not to miss more than 2 days in a row so it doesn't become a new habit, and stick with it. But really important to connect with your body, whether it's going for a walk or putting on a YouTube video and doing an exercise workout, whatever that looks like for you. Find a way to make yourself feel good while you're doing it.
Okay. So we've gone journaling, meditation, movement. Anywhere next?
Yeah, I think as moms, it's really important to know what to eat and what to avoid when you're stressed out. The first system that shuts down when we are stressed out is our digestive system, because our body doesn't know the difference between like arguing with our spouse, yelling at the kids, or being chased by T-Rex. Like, it responds the same way, right? And we don't need to be like eating a burger or eating a salad when we're being chased for our lives, right? It makes sense. So it's like operation shut down. Let's put that extra energy into that fight or flight hormone, and then, let's go. So if you are if you've got a stressful day, like even if you're sitting down and doing tons of interviews, plus kids and whatever, although it's good because you love what you do, it's still stressful. So even for me, like I've got a day full of calls, I'm drinking a smoothie for lunch, right? So it's like I'm drinking a salad. It's a big one, right? So you want to make sure that you're still, getting the nutrients your body needs. And anytime, because our gut health is super important. And our gut, just like our teeth, can build up plaque. And a lot of times people say like gut is like crucial to overall health. Well, it is. That's where our immune system is. Majority of our immune system, like 90%. That's where our serotonin, that feel good hormone, is also produced. So, and that's also where we absorb those nutrients. So if our gut is unhealthy, we're probably tired because we're not getting our nutrients. Our immune system is compromised, and our mental health is compromised because our gut is struggling to get those nutrients. So anytime that we eat more plants, I'm not saying you have to run out and become, a vegan or anything like that, but majority of your plate should be from plants, like from the farmer's market kind of thing, right? Whole foods. And when we do that, because again, like our teeth can build up plaque, our intestinal wall, where we actually absorb those nutrients, can also build up plaque. So when we start eating plants, that's like brushing that intestinal wall, brushing those toxins away. And when we have smoothies packed full of fiber, that's like flossing that intestinal wall. So it's getting into all the crevices and getting those toxins out. And then when we drink cold pressed vegetable juice, it skips our digestive system, and all those nutrients are going into our bloodstream within 20 minutes. So that's like going to the dentist for our insides.
Wow.
So yeah, really potent. And every mama, everybody needs to be taking whole food supplements and not multivitamins. Multivitamins are synthetic, they're man-made, they're increasing our toxic load, very difficult to absorb. We need to be taking whole food supplements because it's natural, we're natural, and then our body can absorb those right away.
So for cold pressed
vegetable juice?
Yes. Is there a brand you recommend, or because I'm thinking how much sugar is then in those?
Yeah. So that's why I say vegetable juice. And the rule of thumb when you're juicing is you always want to make sure that you're juicing fruit. Scratch that.
Don't worry. That's okay.
The opposite, that you are juicing vegetables and eating your fruit. So when we eat our fruit, there's still fiber there. It's a very slow release. And we should not fear fruit at all. Eating fruit, we should not fear it, or even in smoothies, because it's that slow release and our brain needs those healthy carbs. We need that glucose, right? But when we're juicing, because we don't have that fiber, you always want to make sure that you're juicing vegetables and any fruit that you want to add into them. You could add lemon, or maybe even like green apples. I try and avoid apples, but if you want to put apples just to help with the taste at first, you can do that because they're like low glycemic, or limes as well. But other than that, stick to vegetables when it comes to juicing. So I have, like, one of my dreams would be to have, when I walk into a home, that you would see a blender and a juicer on the counter, as much as you would see like a microwave and a toaster. I think every household needs to have those two equipment in their kitchen.
So you juice?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you end up doing with all that fiber?
Yeah, so it depends on what type of juicer you have. So there's a couple of different juicers. So there's centrifugal. Centrifugal speeds up, it can heat up. So you're losing some of the live enzymes when you're using the centrifugal. And then the pulp is very wet. So there's still nutrients in it, so that you can still use that to bake with it or cook with it and so on. If you're using a cold press juicer, some animals won't even touch that pulp because there's no nutrients left in it, because all the nutrients has been extracted from it. So it really depends on what type of juicer you have.
Okay.
And then you can use, when I'm making my own almond milk, I'll save that almond pulp and then I'll make some type of biscuit or something with it, or yeah.
Okay. Because that's one thing when I do make almond milk, I'm always like, I know there's nutrients in this.
Yes.
What can I do? And I've tried making muffins, but they didn't turn out. So if you have a recipe, send it my way.
Yeah. I will definitely send it. It's with a dehydrator though. I don't know if you have a dehydrator, but you can put it in the oven at low temperatures, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So if we want to involve our children in all of this, are there simple ways that we can do this? I know you mentioned meditating, how you and your children meditate together because they were interested. Are there other ideas you have for helping your children start practicing some of the practices you have?
Yeah. So, what's so funny is that we ended up buying a tower garden like 2 years ago. And my kids, like, I didn't even think kids ate greens. I really did not think that they even touched greens. I didn't touch greens until I was probably a teenager, so I didn't do that, but they were part of the growing system. Like they would like plant the seeds and, plug it in. They would talk to them and see how they're doing. They would take pictures of them like 1 weekend, 2 weeks in. And then we started, like my husband and I were harvesting from it and making our own salads and things like that. So they were always kind of helping out in the kitchen, being part of like the smoothie. And I would say to them all the time, hey, do you want to try this? Nope. No, I don't want to try it. Okay, no problem. Hey, do you want to try it? Nope, I don't want to try it. I'm like, okay, no problem. But I consistently got them involved. I consistently asked, or I continually put it on their plate. Even if they didn't want to try it, they still saw it. And then all of a sudden, she was 4 at the time. She's 6 now. And she's like, Mama, can I have a salad? And I was like, what? Like I was trying to play cool, but I was like dying inside. I was like, this is a thing. Kids can meditate and eat salads. I'm like, oh my goodness. But it was because they were part of that process, so get them involved. Even if they don't want to try it, it's okay. Don't force them, but keep them get them on, keep putting the broccoli on their plate, even if they don't want to eat it, get them part of like the growing process. If you can, check out the tower garden. It's super cool. Get them involved with making smoothies or juicing and things like that. And then before you know it, they are craving it more. They're craving it.
When I'm thinking in regards to our children, having them, like you said, having them involved, that may be an opportunity for mom because she's not into self-care, because, this is all about self-care, but there's, you've got 1,500 reasons why you can't. Maybe thinking of it again through your child. I want my child to learn how to do this for the future. So therefore I'm working with you to help you.
Our job is so important to teach those kids. I mean, we have a healthcare system that pays no attention to food. We have a food industry that pays no attention to health. So these two massive industries are not focused on our health or not focused on our health. There's heavy metals in our water. There's heavy metals in our food and GMOs and all this fake food. And disease and illness is like on the rise. And I know we're in the middle of a pandemic right now, but cancer, it's like 1 out of 2 people, heart disease, 1 out of 4 people. They're predicting diabetes is going to be 1 out of 3 people by like 2050. Like these stats are insane. This is not a rites of passage and it starts at home. So even if you don't want to do it for yourself, mama, show up for your kids, do it for your kids and protect them because they need us. They need us now more than ever to show up.
Yeah. And so much of it has to do with what you are feeding your body. So much of it.
It's massive. It's massive. It's food really is medicine. It was medicine for so long before the whole pharmaceutical industry took over, the doctors, and the medical system and all of that stuff. I mean, food was part of it. Herbs were part of it. Essential oils were a part of it. It was all plant medicine. So, I mean, we need to kind of go back to the basics and really fuel our body. Our body cannot operate unless we're giving those nutrients. And for us to get sick, it can only happen because of 2 factors. And that is toxicity, which is like, the food, what they're spraying our food with, or stress, or, personal care products that we're putting on our skin that are, toxic ingredients and things like that. So, toxicity, and then deficiency, we're either not getting enough nutrients, we're not absorbing enough nutrients because food quality is going down because of stress, poor gut health, and so on. So if we can slowly start to detox our body, detox our home environment and so on, and then flood our body with as many nutrients that we can absorb and take care of our gut health, we are setting ourselves up for massive success.
Yeah, I agree with everything you're saying. So tell me about your program. What program do you offer?
Yeah, so I have a 6-week, it's called Fed Up to Fired Up program. And these are moms that are tired, they're exhausted, they're feeling anxious, they're worried about their future, their kids' future. They're getting angry and then feeling guilty about it afterwards. They're wondering when they can focus on their dreams because they're giving so much to others. And this program really helps them go from feeling fed up to fired up, where they start making their health, their happiness, their sense of peace a priority. And as you start to do that, your kids are going to follow suit. And that's like the power of really becoming your own HealthShero.
Okay. And how long is this program?
It's a 6-week program.
6 weeks. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. And then you go through, I'm guessing, similar to what we discussed, some things. Is it like a weekly basis you work through different
Yeah.
things?
So I have a 5-step holistic system. And
Okay.
so we go through that each week. We go through that module. And then the last one is like, how can you become your own HealthShero and pull this all together and what this looks like in your day-to-day life. And then there's also group coaching involved. So there's lots of accountability, tons of amazing information, and it's practical steps that you can fit into a busy life. Like this is important. I know mamas are busy, and it's like, this is what you can squeeze in.
Right. And I think that's where a lot of moms it's the overwhelm of, I've got to add one more thing to my plate.
Yeah.
And I like how you are recommending things like just little snippets of things to be able to do. And it really is, once you start, it's much easier than you may portray or think that it's going to be.
Yeah, that's it. We get so overwhelmed. We're like, I don't even know. There's so many things I want to change. I don't even know where to start. This program is, I'm going to be holding your hand, walking you through step by step on exactly what to do. And we're just going to be building on that.
Okay. And where can people find you?
Yeah, so you can check out healthshero.com on my website. I'm also on Instagram, health_Shero there as well.
Okay. And do you have anything else you want to make sure that the listeners know about?
I want the listeners to know that their number one job is to feel good. So if there is an area in your life that you're not feeling good in, find a way to make it more enjoyable, or it's time to look for a different path. And if you're feeling overwhelmed, like reach out and ask for help. I mean, you could definitely do it on your own, but it's draining, it's exhausting. You can invest a lot of money into, different programs and not get those same results, or you can go like the traditional, mental health field. And I worked in that field for over 10 years. And that field, again, is very long. It's drawn out. They get you to own the problem. A lot of times it's like medication. And not once when I was going through cancer did I say, I am cancer. But in the mental health world, we get people to own, I am anxious, I am depressed. But I promise you, mama, that's not who you are. That's not who you were. You weren't born to be anxious and depressed. And there's ways to feel good again. And in this 6-week Fed Up to Fired Up program, it's like jumping on an express train to where you want to go. So like reach out and get the help if you're feeling like, yes, this aligns.
Yeah. And I think you definitely are exactly what I'm thinking in regards to a lot of these things, this anxiety, this depression. This is not something, like you said, it's not something that you are. Yes, you're dealing with it, but you are not. And there are I don't want to say simple answers. There could possibly be some simple underlying things that you could do to start changing that.
Yes, 100%. When we start suppressing our emotions consistently, and think, here I am, I'm in mid-40s. So think how long that you've been doing this over time, suppressing our emotions. I'm okay, I'm fine, I can get through this. Suppressed emotions turns into anxiety. Suppressed anxiety turns into depression. Suppressed depression turns into like dis-ease or illness in the body. Now our body's communicating with us. So once you start like figuring out how to take care of yourself, it's incredible how many symptoms you can either reduce or eliminate altogether. Like it's mind-blowing.
Thank you for taking time out of your day to listen to our podcast. I hope you found this information valuable and hope that you are able to immediately use some of the information that was provided by Charlotte. Make sure to check out the show notes where we will have all the links for how you can work with her. I also wanted to let you know that if you are a mom who's wanting to begin to start making healthier choices, but are not sure where to start or don't feel like you have a lot of time, I want to let you know that I offer a 5-day challenge that is free for you to get started on making small changes each day. It provides you with a quick 5-minute movement or workout routine, along with a 5-day meal plan with family-friendly meals you all will enjoy. Just head to formfitnaples.com/fitin5 to sign up. Again, I will have this information in my show notes. Go out and enjoy your day while practicing small, healthy choices that will make lasting changes.